Man, y'all know the face, y'all know the name. I tuned into the World's Greatest Podcast, Talking Cheap Podcast, hosted by yours truly, Mr. It's a Movie Please Real Talk. And I got some special guests with me. By now, this is like episode 150 something. It probably ain't gonna come out for a little while, but it's like episode 150 something. We've been doing this for a little while now. I got a special guest here with me, and in traditional Talking Cheap fashion, I do not introduce my guests. I feel like it's mad lackluster. I feel like it's unimpressive. I feel like they can speak more about who they are and what they do better than I can introduce them. And I don't want to drop the ball personally. I don't want to drop the ball. So, guest, please introduce yourself.
What up, everyone? My name is Jodi Da Real. I am an artist from Staten Island, New York. I do murals. I do music. Pretty much anything creative. We got our hands in it.
And I'm Shawn McArthur from Divided District Studios, a small publishing company or a small independent comic book publishing company from Staten Island, New York. I'm also co-host of Nothing Much podcast, and I like to draw shit.
Very dope, very dope. So we're going to spend a lot of time together, so I'm excited for this conversation. I think it's definitely very long overdue. I think the first time I met you both was at Projectivity.
Yes.
And it was a nice vibe. Shout out to Projectivity and all the people out there. Mm-hmm. And you guys are both very dope artists. Very dope artists. I feel like you guys are also pillars in the community when it comes to the art space.
Pillars.
We've been doing it for a minute. I would claim the pillar. I would claim it.
See, I wouldn't. I'm not there yet. I feel like I'm not there yet.
You're very humble.
Hopefully not too humble. I'm nice. But I mean, I feel like I'm not there yet. I feel like there's a certain
tier, upper echelon. So if you had, I know we're gonna get down to y'all journey and everything, but if you had to see like these are the things I have to do to become that upper echelon, or these are people who are in the community that have become that upper echelon, who are they, or what do you feel you would need to do to reach those things?
I feel like not just my footwork on things that I can do for a community, but I can assemble things on a constant basis, not just once in every few years throw something. I feel like, I'm in the board. I'm in the room with the people making the moves for the events, for the people. That's the type of level I'm talking about. Me, I feel like I'm just a tiny little pebble in this big ass pond that we call Staten Island, or a Staten Island arts community. I'm just one of the many, and I feel like that if I was in the room to help more people other than helping just myself and Jodi and so on and so forth, then I feel like that's when I made it.
Because for me, like, I've had my hands in so many things in Staten Island. So that's why I feel like I've been a pillar, because I used to do heavy on the music back in the day. And by heavy, I was even putting together hip hop events for people to come perform and like doing all of that stuff. And then now being in the schools and doing art for the community and like all of those things, I feel like I've left a pretty big impression on Staten Island as far as like most people know me, but not for one thing. Like, I feel like some people be like, oh, Jodi, yeah, for the music. Oh, Jodi, yeah, because she was doing the music video thing. Or Jodi, yeah, for the murals. So that's why I feel like now I've earned the pillar, but I'm ready to be like the building, like,
I love that. I want to hear something that Shawn said, and I was just, do you think that the reason that you believe you're not a pillar yet, and you kind of said something about like being in these rooms and being in these spaces that actually make some things like happen and shake, is that a talent thing, or is that just like people, not giving you that opportunity, or is it like people not knowing? Like, what do you think it is that's causing you to not be able to be in certain conversations? Because I don't think it's a talent thing.
No. All right, so before I even go further onto that question, let me reiterate. All right, so first off, I've been in rooms and I've been in conversations. Shout out to Richmond Hood and Wordplay. They had me become a art director for to find artists to do wordplay nights, and and that was they just received the grant for that. Where a year ago I was their artist for a whole year, doing once a month drawing, and working on drawing what the poets are reciting or performing at that night, and making a piece of art for the night, right? So now I have the opportunity to say, all right, well, I need this artist, that artist, and I was able to put people, certain artists who, whether or not they deserve or not, but they just needed to be noticed, to like, hey, come in, first come, first serve, right? And it's all about opportunity. It's not about how well you do in your craft. It's more about who you know in that room, who answers the call.
And reaching back.
And reaching back.
Like no gatekeeping.
So my whole thing was always putting the ladder down, because I know how it feels to be in a gallery and no one knows who you are. And when I first started, right before, when I first started to put my name and my work out there, a friend of mine called me up and said, "Hey, you need to come down and bring your portfolio folder." And I only had that one folder filled with a bunch of drawings that I didn't think no one cared for, and took me to an art show. I had no table. I just had a chair. And so I took a sheet of paper saying, "Hey, I'm Shawn McArthur. I am a comic book illustrator, and in parentheses, a pretty bad one. Here's some of my work you could flip through if you like, and give me a number for sale." And then from there, I made about $200, and I got to meet people that I didn't think I was going to meet, and or eventually was going to meet in person, and they get to know me. So I'm very grateful for that. So yeah, when I say that I don't feel like I'm in a pillar, it doesn't. My perspective and the reality of it doesn't match. It would never match, because I'm always trying to reach for something a little bit higher than that. And that's the whole point. Like, I mean, not to sound ungrateful. I am very grateful, but also to feel as though I need to reach for more, I can help out more. Yeah. And so,
because it's not a talent thing you're talking about.
It's never a talent thing.
It's impact.
Yeah, impact. My dad always said, like, leave something at the party. Don't just don't just bring it and then take it back. Leave something. It was like, and I've always stood like 10 toes on that, and it was just like, all right, I'm gonna leave something. So to leave something, it has to be something of value. Mm-hmm. So whether I'm teaching, whether I'm doing some art, or whether I'm donating, or gotta leave something. And I figure, if I'm gonna climb this mountain, I might as well make a big ass ladder. Mm-hmm. So that's what I mean by, I don't think I'm at that pillar yet. And I don't think I'm ever going to see that pillar. But that's how it goes.
That's so dope. I feel that. So let's start at the beginning. What was your earliest artistic memory, and when did you know that you weren't to be an artist? Like, this is going to be the thing that sets your soul on fire.
I was just telling her this morning how it went. My oldest brother, Jose, right? My oldest brother.
Shout out to Jose, man.
Yes.
Yeah, the captain. So what happened was, he was drawing comic books, and we had a bunk bed. My bed is on, I had the top bunk, and he was just like, I was looking down, and he's drawing. He's laying down and drawing. I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" He was like, "I'm making a comic book." I was like, "That's so cool." I'm like 5, 6 years old, and I said, "I can do that." He said, "No, you can't." I said, "I can." He said, "Show me." I started drawing. That's it.
What about you, Jodi? When was your earliest artistic memory?
I think just drawing in general. Like I've always been an artist. Not necessarily comic book work, but just general drawing. One memory my family told me about was me writing, like before I could write, just random scribbles on a piece of paper and drawing random things, and then going up to them and reciting like horror movie stuff like that I created with these scribbles.
That's dope.
So I think like that's like an earliest memory that they've told me that I was doing creative before I could even write. I was just scribbling randomness, and like I had like this long drawn out story. Besides that, it's always been in my life. Like my dad's an artist, my cousins are artists, so just being around them and like always drawing and drawing, like that's like some of my earliest memories. So just like Shawn, it was family started,
Right?
yeah.
Exactly. Like my dad was an artist too.
Wow.
Yeah. He was a lot of things. He was an odd job man. He went from like either cleaning gutters, doing electric, helping build a house, but yeah, like it's crazy. Like when you're around it, you don't really like, oh man, like that means I'm gonna be an artist too. No,
No.
you don't really think that. What you think is this is cool and I want to do it.
And then this person that I look up to is doing it. Like, oh, they're cool. I want to be cool like them. So let me start drawing. Let me start painting. And from there, it just took off everything. And even my parents too. Like, my mom especially put me in places to be creative. Even though typical Caribbean mom, she was like, do this for now, but get a real job.
Right?
Like, be creative all you want as long as you get a real job.
No, that's fire. That's fire. Okay, dope. At what point did you guys realize that you were actually good at this? Because I feel like there's like always an aha moment, like, yo, I actually can like really do this for real.
Okay. I guess fourth grade, the Spawn movie came out. Big fan, I had the toys, I had the comics, and the movie came out, and I just wanted to make comic books. And so what I did was I was pressing fast forward, rewind to certain parts, or like making the comic book and breaking down the movie and breaking my mom's VCR in the process and copying bar for bar what I saw in the screen, and then drawing and making the comic book of the movie and selling it for 50 cents to my friends. And my mom caught wind to that. She was like, that's not going to pay for the VCR. And she was mad at that. But she was happy that, like, I was just making a mess and creating stuff. And also it became a little beneficial, and I was like, oh, when I grow up, I can draw comics, or I can draw a cartoon like Akira Toriyama from Dragon Ball, because I was Spawn obsessed and Dragon Ball obsessed, and that's all because of my brother. And my mom, my godparents, my dad, just feeding me art stuff. They just knew what to do, and I guess took it and ran with it. I knew right then and there, maybe I'm not better than this kid who got the award for best artist in class, but I know I got something, because people keep coming for this copy of Spawn, and we didn't have a copy machine. So could you imagine, after homework every day, I have to redraw it, because even though I watched that movie 100 times, I couldn't remember bar for bar. So I had to make sure. I was like, yeah, I remember this part. I remember this part. Or sometimes they would ask for, like, what happens next. So I'm like, I don't know what happens next. And he was like, can you make something? I was like, yeah, you know what? Fine. And yeah, I was making money off of that. And that's how I knew that I can make comic books.
Dope. What about you, Jodi?
Like for me, I always knew I could draw. Like I always knew I was artistic. But like I said, with my mom telling me this is not a real thing, it was always just a hobby. And it wasn't until literally college where I was like, I had no options as far as like jobs in that moment. and one of my art teachers, I forget his name, but it was this African dude, and he was always so passionate in class. And it was one class where he was just walking up to everybody like, you can be selling this, you should be putting this out, you should be da da da. And like, he was just so inspirational to me that I left college thinking not necessarily that I could be full time, but just enough to be like, wow, I can make something from this. This is valuable enough for me to start putting it out there. And it started with family and friends, like them buying it and them being like, yo, this is great, like you should be selling this. So just from, I guess, that teacher. Yeah.
Very dope. Before we continue, I just want to shout out two sponsors. They're not sponsors yet, God willing, but one day they will be. Shout out Art and Rev,
Yes.
black-owned beer seltzer company.
This is amazing stuff, by the way.
Dope, right?
Like, as soon as I opened up the can and took my first sip,
It's
I
dope.
hit. It
Bro.
was like, whoa.
Yeah, I met the one of the partners at Accelerator Con. Shout out to Accelerator Con, and yeah, it was a great experience.
It's like a spiced orange.
Yeah, it's like
This
it's an
is
orange gin spritz, very dope. So make sure y'all check out Art and
Pick
Rev.
the right one.
Yeah. They got a little vibey, and there's another one that I like. It's like a what is it? Oh, I forgot. It tastes like a Long Island, but it's really dope. You gonna really like it. Like I said, I'm gonna try to contact them, see if I can get a couple things, a sponsorship, whatever, so that all y'all can enjoy that vibe. Also, shout out to Immaculate Vibe Candles. Immaculate Scent Candles Co. Make sure y'all follow that at Immaculate Scent and Immaculate Vibe for the Immaculate Scent.
Yes.
And a shout out to Peace International Market, Staten Island, New York, 3240 Richmond Terrace. My mama's deli. If you want to go see my mom, go talk to her. Yeah, my mom's the only black woman owner of a deli on Staten Island. Black owned
That's
and black
dope.
woman. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Hell
Thank you. We in good companies. Just a bunch of entrepreneurs and creators.
Yes.
So let's go to the next level, right? So you talked about your earliest moments. You talked about, the fact that you guys both come from an artistic family, which is super dope. What happens after that, right? Where do you take your art from that level? Because you, like Jodi, you said you went to college for art. Shawn, did you go to college for art as well?
I took a couple of classes in college, but I never went. So I moved.
said I never went with. Yeah,
No, I mean, listen.
I feel you,
shout
bro.
out
Like
to
I was
FAFSA
there, but I wasn't
because
there.
shout out to FAFSA because truthfully, if it wasn't for FAFSA, I wouldn't be going into schools in general, right? And I was a resource room kid, so it worked out for me. Like, but the thing is, so I went, and then I moved out like an idiot, right? Like, I mean, not saying that I was an idiot for moving out, but I just needed to spread my wings. I felt like I didn't get into enough trouble. I didn't have enough adventure. I told my mom, instead of like having the what some would say that's the typical thing, like at 18 you go. No, I left at 21 going on 22. I thought I was adult enough to like try to defend for my own, and from there I was going to school and I was also working, and I couldn't do both in order to pay the bills, and I had to make a choice. And I decided, okay, well, school is not going to pay the bills, but I can learn this at any given time. There are plenty of books, there's plenty of people that I can learn from. If I really want this art thing to happen, I will just practice, make this thing a hobby, and just work on my skills silently and just chill and work my ass off to make sure that I live somewhere. And so that was the goal. And then from there, I went from becoming a doorman that was ununionized doorman, all the way to being a CNA. And in between that time, I was in a different relationship. I was in a different mind state. I wasn't really thinking about art that way. I was planning to be a nurse because, my dad didn't really want me to be an artist. He was like, you could be a lot more, and you got steady hands, and I feel like you're hella smart. You can do this. And I realized that living alone, I had to realize that I'm not as smart as they think I am. One, and then two, I needed them I needed my family to help me survive at least 3 months out of the time. So it was so yeah, it was a bad decision, but it was the best decision for my art, because once I got out of the relationship and I was a CNA, I was able to pay for books and go on YouTube and just watch that, and I pretty much knuckled up and just locked in on that, because I said I don't want to be a nurse. I don't want to be a CNA. I don't want to do it. And so I got to work my way out of be an artist. This is the most fun. This is this is my icky guy. I got to do that. So that's what happened. So I didn't go to school completely. I just
And then
self-taught.
for me, it's like I went to college because I had to go to college.
You Caribbean.
Yeah, it was either go to college
Or get the fuck out.
Or get the fuck out. I'm glad you understand, because that's where it was. So when I first went to college, I went for architecture. That's what my dad was doing.
Dope.
And I eventually switched. Because by the time I wanted to do architecture, they were no longer doing it the same way. Like when my dad was doing it, it was pen, paper, and a ruler, and you draw that shit yourself. There was no computer, there was no apps for it, sorry. So when I got to school, I thought it was going to be art. Like once you learned like all the terms, oh, we're getting to draw now. And it's
Right.
like, no, here's CAD. Here's this internet thing for you to put it together. So I eventually switched to, funny enough, art history. And it was only because like I had scrolled down the list based on what I already did at the school, which one of these majors is going to get me out in like a year and a half, 2 years.
What school did you go to?
I went to Penn State at first.
Dope.
It was for architecture. It was Penn State Altoona. Shout out to them. But then I had to switch because they didn't accept me in the architecture program. And at that point, I was doing liberal arts. And I was like, nah. So I switched to University of Buffalo.
You went to UB?
Yes, I did.
No, you not.
Yes,
Stop
I did.
playing. You be on that bullshit too?
I went to UB.
What?
I went to UB.
That's crazy. Shout out to all my UB Bulls,
Yo,
man.
if you go into the bathroom, you'll see the UB.
Oh,
What?
on the bathroom sticker.
What?
Yeah, I put it.
Shout out to my UB Bulls,
You went
man.
to UB too?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I graduated.
Where did I?
I graduated 2017.
Oh, I graduated 2013, I think.
Oh, so you just left. You just left when I got in.
Yeah. I'm
Wow.
old, by the way. Older than I look.
So but you were there when I was a freshman.
Probably, but at that point, I was like a hermit crab. Like I was going through mad shit, abusive relationship, but a whole 9 yards of stuff. And because of laziness, I never decided to do the art major because it was just so much work involved, like so many projects that needed to be done. So my way of college was just to get out because my family needed me to be there. So I took some art classes, like their first level gen ed kind of art classes, and then I took art history, and that's what my degree is in now, art history. Yeah, so a lot of it is like some college, some school, some self-taught.
Dope. All right, so let's talk Staten Island art. What is the Staten Island art scene like, and how have you been able to navigate the politics of the Staten Island art scene?
Ooh, that was like the best Staten Island arts question I've ever had.
So I think it's dope. I think the Staten Island art scene is honestly dope. There's gatekeeping and there's openness, but that's what any sort of industry you're in. Same with the music scene out here. There's gatekeeping and there's openness. On the openness side, it is dope. Everyone's cool. Everyone's giving out suggestions and advice. Everyone's doing events together. So that's been really good, especially with organizations like Projectivity. Shout out to Christian Penn.
Yep.
This dude is dope. Like, it's not just me. Like, pretty much anybody. If you go up to Chris and is like, yo, I got to hustle. I can do A, B, and C. He will find you work.
Yep.
Like, period.
No,
like,
Chris is true blue.
So that's why I say, like, it's a two-sided coin. There's some gatekeeping, because I've had situations with artists in the past where I'm like, how do you do this? Like, even when I was starting out murals, Chris was one of the few that was like, here are the steps. This is what you do. And then he gave me my first mural gig, like paid mural gig from like this random lady. But everyone else I asked, and they were like, "Oh, you just figure it out on the way." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And now those same people are like, "Hey, Jodi, how do you do this?" And I'm like,
You gotta figure that shit out, gang. Figure that shit out, gang. Remember what you said.
No, I'm not an asshole. I'm not an asshole. I do respond. And I do also throw back what they threw me. Like, for example, there was this an artist that I had met from the other boroughs, and she works with a lot of corporations. And I had asked her, like, yo, how do I get in? Like, can I apply to this? And she was like, oh, I don't know. Da, 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 da. And her answer was sort of like vague, not trying to give me the in, you know? So from there, I got a few gigs from other artists and just the nonprofit works. And now artists like that are hitting me up. Like, how do you get gigs? And can I work with you? Or can I assist you on one of these gigs? And I'm like, sure. Hey, did you hear about any corporation stuff? Maybe you could link me, you know? Like, just, so that's how I do it. Like, I don't try to be bitter about it. Because I don't want to be a gatekeeper. I don't want to be spiteful in that sense. Like, anybody could hit me up and be like, yo, how did you do that? And I'd be like, A, B, C, D. Because it doesn't really matter if I give you the ingredients. It's sort of like cooking. Yeah. I could tell you exactly how much each measurement is. But how you put it together is how you put it together. So I am never a gatekeeper with information. Like,
right.
I can, like, we could have bad blood forever. And I'm just like, here it is. Don't hit me up no more.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
You can literally, like, for some, you can literally make the thing and
right in front of them,
and then give it to them and be like, now go sell it, and now it will collect dust.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's an ambition thing. It's a discipline thing. It's not just knowing I have to sell my art. This is how I sell my art. It's, are you disciplined enough to follow all of those steps I gave you? Because even now with people reaching out to me like, hey, can I be your assistant? Like, I'm a workhorse. Like, I don't play. Like, I show up and I'm in there. So if you're taking breaks every hour, 2 hours, I'm just looking at you like, yeah, take your break. But after that, I'm probably not going to call you as much because I don't take a break unless it's like middle of the day and then at the end, that sort of thing. But even lunch, like, I'm just like 10 minutes, I'm out.
So you're an executor.
I'm an executor, and I want people around me to be that hungry, because it's hunger that has me like go. So if you're just chilling and your attitude is like, how do I get to where you are you hungry? You don't look hungry to me. You look like, oh, she's just gonna give me the floor plan and then that's it. And the same with Shawn. He's just going to give you the floor plan about how I drew this face. But honestly, Shawn spends, like, now hours and hours just drawing, like, not even full bodies, just drawing hands or feet or noses. Like,
he's refining his skill.
Exactly. And that's what it takes. Discipline, refining the skill. Yeah. Because
there's a, like, when it comes down to it, like, when people ask me to teach them, like, private lessons, I give them one task and I tell them, fill up these 5 pages or fill up these 10 pages with as many perfect circles as you can. Get used to drawing. Get used to drawing in a way that you have to knock these out quick. And the thing is a sheet of copy paper. It's not like, Bristol paper, which is like a thick cut paper. I'm not teaching you how to do certain tricks. I'm not teaching you how to use certain. I'm not teaching you how to use certain equipment or whatever. I'm teaching you how to have discipline. Mm-hmm. For me, because we're all human, right? And even I have a discipline problem. Even with if my discipline is at, like, I got the momentum of 6 fucking months, my discipline, I was still thinking in my head, my discipline is not enough. Like, I need to be on point, locked in, and so on and so forth, right? But once again, and even when I know I'm not doing enough, I still have to, I have to do more. So I tell them, fill out these 5 sheets of paper, front to back, circles, nothing but circles, and just get used to doing that.
And now you can just draw a circle because it's muscle memory at the end of the day. A lot of people think, oh, you're just born with it. But no, it's my muscle memory. It's really me uploading how to draw A, B, C, D over and over until my brain is like, you know what I mean? So because as far as
I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you two things.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you can, oh yeah.
Yeah, you can still see it. Because as far as like the art community, I think that's where it is. It's like half is hungry and then half just wants to.
So this is now.
Yeah.
This is what 5 years ago.
Oh, we gotta. Yeah, I was about to say we gotta go up for that one.
I don't mean to.
Oh, we could probably bring. Oh, did you leave it that far for space?
Yeah,
when he cut it.
Yeah, so when he can cut.
He can cut it.
So that's pretty much it. So you saw that.
Yeah.
So that's now, and
So-
this is then.
This is back in '08. That's my earliest.
Wow.
It's my earliest book that I have in the house. So when people say that is just talent, I tell them no.
No, because we all started off with ugly. You know, we
Like-
all started somewhere.
That's dope.
So I tried to tell them, listen, it is not a talent born.
It's an interest born, not a talent born. It's an interest born.
Yeah, it's general interest.
Yeah, a lot of people can't stare at a paper for like 12 hours. Me, I can be painting 6 to 12 hours lost in the sauce. Just like I go to some schools and they're like, you don't stop, because I'm like, paint.
So it's crazy. So to answer that question
about the Staten Island arts community. Yeah.
I like where she did most of her work with
Projectivity.
Projectivity.
Oh, and the New York City Art Cipher. That was actually my first nonprofit.
Shout out to the New York City Art Cipher.
Charlie B, rest in peace. He definitely taught me a lot. We weren't always on the even keel, me and him, but as far as like what I learned from that place, a lot. Event planning, and even some of my first murals were there, but just not paid. Yeah.
Yeah, so like while she was working on that side, even though I worked with Projectivity as well, I lean more towards the Dave Noodles side, which
Shout out to Stereotype.
Shout out to Dave Noodles.
Shout out
Make
to
sure y'all
Dave
take
Noodles.
a look at his episode. His
Yes.
episode is in. We have Talking Cheap episode. I don't know the number. We already at like 150, but it's like I wouldn't say in like the 70s, 60s.
Yes.
So if you go back to like the 70s, 60s, go look at Dave Noodles. Shout out to Dave Noodles' mom.
Yes.
Shout out to Dave Noodles' mom.
Mama Noodles.
Mama Noodles. The tea is fire, and shout out to the donuts.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Papa Noodles too.
Shout out to Papa
Noodles.
Noodles too.
Yes.
No cap.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, me hanging out with him, well, not really working with him. I learned a couple of things, and now like this past year, 2024, working with him and seeing his drive and seeing that he was very passionate about teaching at his alma mater, which was Port Richmond High School, and I got to learn some things
Yeah.
that was instilled in me naturally, but I lost through like, you know, being a pillar, right? Thinking, okay, well, I don't have to work as hard because mama, we made it,
Yeah.
but we didn't.
So that's why it's like he's definitely on the side of like openness. Like
Yeah.
you could hit up Dave
Exactly.
for anything and be like, Dave, I just have this advice. Like I need advice about A, B, and C.
And he will help
and
you.
he is open.
He'll give you the-
so much love. Shout out to the Staten Island arts community, music, arts, visual arts, the whole shebang.
Yep.
Hub 17,
Richmond Hood.
Rich-
Shout out to
Hood.
Richmond. Shout out to her.
Wordplay.
wordplay. Like there's so much love on the island. Like even me, like I'm a cynic and I'm always on the side like fuck everybody, but
Yeah.
but I definitely show love when it's when for the people that actually show up for you.
Right.
Because Tyreek, shout out to him, shows up. Chris shows up. Dave shows up. Kenny shows up.
Yep.
And they're always doing something for the
I feel
arts
like
community.
those are the like the four.
The four,
for
they're
me.
pillars. If you
Yeah.
want to talk about pillars,
Those
they're
are the
pillars. Like word.
Also, what's
Like we
Diverse?
just there holding it up with them. Yes, shout out to Diverse. He's
Diverse.
another one. Like they're always looking out.
You know, and so that's the whole thing. And also like the non-mentions, they know who they are.
Yes.
You know, and they've helped us with our journey. within the past. Like, I think once I met her, we met each other. That's when everything just kind of expanded, because as artists, we're not the same artists. We're two different artists, and we have two different styles, and we have two different goals. So it feels like we are kind of cornering a market of a whole community. Mm-hmm. So we take in, so he was like, oh, yeah, Shawn is just a illustrator. He draws cartoons. No, Shawn is not just a cartoonist. He's also, he also paints. He does caricatures. He does logos. He does sneakers, paints. He's a mural assistant. He's a
muralist, not assistant.
Oh, a muralist now.
Thank you.
I'm a muralist.
You gotta claim it.
I can't say the A word.
Can't say the A word.
Can't say, and then not only that, but I'm also a poet. I write. I've just been like, it's just engulfed me to be an all around artist, and I'm now becoming an animator.
Oh yeah! Shout out to Thomas.
Shout out to Thomas.
Thomas
Fuchs.
Yes, he's another one that shows love, especially to a lot of poets. Who we forgetting? Maya.
Yes. Maya definitely.
Shout out to Maya. She another one that's doing it. Word.
Yeah. She's episode. So awesome. She's episode. I got a Dave News episode. I got a Maya episode. I got a lot of episodes.
Shanny.
Shout out to Shanny.
Shanny put us onto a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Dope ass videographer. She got her work.
She's like these people that we have like, imprinted ourselves on to. Jatik.
Shout out to
Jatik.
That's the homie too.
And now
I
got a Jatik episode too.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
So we can go on and on, mm-hmm. and these are just very few of hundreds of people that come in and out of our lives
that are doing stuff and doing events
either,
and putting people on for the arts
and
community.
Being supportive.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why I'm going back to the pillars thing. I feel like I'm just a person who is willing to work, right? Like I don't want to feel like I'm that guy just yet. I want to work.
Give back more.
I want to give back in art because I got a lot of art to give, and a lot of people don't understand that. Yes, the price may be high, but the value and the want for it, call on me.
Yes, the price is the price.
Yeah.
I love that. How do you navigate the business of art?
It's hard because as an artist, all you want to do is the art part. But once you become like a professional, it's not just the art part. Like I recently started working on this PDF proposal. Shout out to Influential Walls. I recently signed a mentorship with them, and basically they're sending emails through this system where it's like 2,000 emails a month just trying to catch. And they were like, that's the only reason, like besides there are other methods that they're using, but with the emails they've gotten people, but it's just because it's like a mass. And who knows, like AI is such a complicated conversation, but in certain instances it is a tool because they're using this AI system to send out all of these emails and they're getting jobs back. So it's just like knowing that not only do you have to market yourself like online with certain ways aesthetically, how your Instagram looks, how your website looks, how you show up to places, are you wearing your logo or whatever the case is, like the business side of it is very tedious because you just want to draw, you just want to create, but then you got to come back. And then Shawn was, because he's always teaching me something. I feel like we're always exchanging information. And this morning, because I'm such like I love making money, but not in the sense of I want to be rich, but just in the sense of the game of it, the competitiveness of it. So everything I make in my mind, I'm just already like, how do I market this? And Shawn was like, just make something for fun. And I was like, what?
Yeah, like sometimes.
So it's like trying to pull back to that, where you're just making stuff for fun, and not everything needs to be marketed, but it definitely is tedious.
Well, I don't want to say that, like, because money is just the result of what you get
Yes.
when you do your job,
Your ikigai.
right? And so if your ikigai is already making money, then you should be making money naturally just because you are who you are.
Yeah.
So do the fun thing. Do the thing that you didn't think that people like. And that's what I've been doing for the past several years, and it's just been working.
Because with Shawnee hates paperwork.
I don't like paperwork.
And there's a
But-
lot of paper. Oh,
so-
hi, Paris.
That's my boy.
Shout out to Paris, man.
He's one of the
Yeah,
boys. As I said,
Mr.
he'd be
P.
chilling on the window.
What time
He's
is
like,
it?
what's
It's
up?
2:39.
He could-
Did we give him treats?
He'll be okay.
All right.
We didn't give him any treats. It's
Oh,
like
my boy.
it's treat
You want to
time.
go to mommy?
Nah, he'll be alright. He vibing right now. He trying to
Okay.
assess the new
All
friend.
right. So you talking to the mic and you go, "Hello, this is I am Mr.
I
P."
am Mr. P. Because his full name is Paris because he has that mole on his face.
Yeah, like
Oh,
Yeah.
He likes you already. Boom.
Right. You're already in. He's like sniffing you. You good to go.
So what I was saying, like we
Yes,
was talking,
with paperwork and doing business.
paperwork, doing business. Yes, I started to pick up on like doing paperwork. If I knock that out the second I have like if I wake up early enough to do the thing that I like doing, which is just like running practices, running hour drill where I do 10-minute intervals, as you can see right here.
Of like drawing, yeah.
Yep. I go on next emails. Do emails. Just knock them out. Emails, answer people, hey, what's going on? Happy Arbor Day. I'm ready to work. And then I'm also like, all right, cool. Post something. Throw a post. I don't like posting. I just
posting
want to
is
draw.
annoying.
And the name of the game is just to let people see your stuff, right? And then also, like, when you have to sign up for grants, make sure you sign up for grants and just have yourself organized.
There's a lot of money out there for artists.
Yeah.
Like musically, artistically, film. There's a lot of grants. That's the tedious part of it, because people think there's no money out there, but you could live off grants for the year if you're just applying every month to like different ones.
I had a grant that like I had $1,000 a month.
Yeah,
I
from what was it, New York City?
Yeah.
I forgot the name of it, but yeah, there are grants out there. There was even a grant that was the one we applied to, where it was $70,000 a year for 2 years plus medical, and you just had to show up at like a community center maybe once or twice a week and do like an art program for like an hour, 2 hours, and then you have like a gallery at the end of the thing.
Yep.
Like stuff like that is out there. So
It's
when
key.
it comes, so when people are like, oh, how are you full time? Nonprofits, emails, grants, Staten Island Arts, awesome grants, Staten Island Arts. So easy to get because they're so open with the information. They're just like, show up to the seminar, email us, and simple.
Yeah,
Like,
they're pretty
simple.
much were like, yo, you want money? We got
just
money.
fill out the paperwork clearly.
Yeah.
Both of our first issues of our comic books were funded by Staten Island Arts.
Yeah.
Our second district con
Matter of fact,
convention.
First off, the company itself was funded by Staten Island Arts.
Yes.
But we signed up for the book. But in order to do that, you have to, put it pressed down and so on and so forth. But
I
we
see
made
you
that like in a way we made we were granted 3,000.
Yes.
And Jenna one day was like, "Hey, look, I saw your piece, and it was called Home and Worlds Beyond." And they saw it at Jatik show, and then I moved it to a Richmond Hood show like months after that. They was like, "Hey, yeah, I heard that you wanted to do a comic, but yeah, we can pay that. Like the we can have that for you." And we was like, "All right, cool." So I signed up. I ended up making the full amount, and I made a LLC, which is Divided District Studios, and then from there, I started working on Home and Worlds Beyond. But what I also did was added more people into the group. I'm like, you know what? It couldn't just be me. I'm third out of 7. So to take on something like that, it couldn't just be me. So I put her on, and I put a few other people on.
Yeah, I wasn't doing comics before Shawn. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even think it was possible to do comics before Shawn, because having to draw, like, let's say one person in a scene from here to here, like,
it takes a lot of like.
yeah, like, and in my
discipline and
mind, like,
dedication.
I
Right.
used to be one of those artists who was like, yo, I can only draw something once, because if I draw it again, it's gonna look ugly. Like, I can only do it the good time, the one time. And then Shawn put me on, and then getting a tablet absolutely helped the process
Yeah.
even more. But yeah, no, he definitely inspired me to do comics, and also sort of influenced my mural style as well through the process of me learning comics. Then my mural style became more comic book illustrator looking. So it was definitely like, yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to build a team to start off with, because like I said before, I'm third out of 7 children. So and my mom's birthday is like in a few days. So shout out to mom. Hi, mom.
Shout out to Mom McArthur, man.
Love you, mom. So yeah, the whole thing was, if I can do that, then she can do it. Then they can do it, and it worked. And then not only that, we got a comic book company out of it in a few books, but we also had a convention in which it was her idea, and I didn't want it.
Because I was like, I got this. New York City Art Cipher, they taught me how to do events. I got this. And that shit became, it was really dope. Like, I loved it. It was amazing. We had the DeLorean Back to the Future car there, and a little
That's fire.
hoverboard. Like, because a lot of people told us no, and that's like definitely a fire starter for me. Oh, what? No, no. It's about to be the best event. To this day, people are like, "When are you doing another one?" But it was self-funded. We
Yeah.
probably didn't eat that entire year. Like,
No.
that's when that discipline came in, because I was DoorDash, I was just working. Every penny was just putting in the thing. The overall cost of it was like $8 to 10 grand.
Okay.
And it was just like us, like
Yeah.
we had everybody, and that's also the Staten Island arts community showing up as well, because we had tons of vendors and tons of people showing up to do workshops, like cosplay workshop, breakdancing workshop. Like, we really went in, like, they wasn't ready.
Now we gotta definitely bring that back, and if I could be a resource or an asset, I used to throw events. I did events for about 10 years. So, if there's anything you need help with branding, marketing, and whatever.
It's the timing,
It-
dude. That's really what it is. Like,
Right.
trying to focus, because at the time I don't think I wasn't doing murals as much.
Right.
I was a swim
I
instructor.
think we did one mural.
Yeah, I was a swim instructor at that time, so I really wasn't doing the mural. So I had the time to DoorDash and to get money from the swim job, and to like really put the time in. But
And I was
now,
working as a CNA.
yeah, so he had constant money coming in. We both had constant money coming in. But now, because we're full time, that's the other thing. Like, still with the discipline, trying to count your pennies, because you don't know if next month you're going to get a job,
Right.
or if the job is going to continue, or if you're going to get stiff payment because you have some stupid ass client. Like, you know what I mean? So it's very rough on that end, because then you really have to like
It's
count
like-
your pennies. Like, people are like, oh, you need to show up to every single event. It's like, no, $10, $20, I can't, because rent and life and
Long story
Gangster.
short, you have to wear many different hats.
Yeah.
So if I'm just a comic book creator, then I'm not just a comic book creator. I am the writer. I am the I am the letterer. I'm the colorist. I am the editor. I am also reader one. Somebody else around that I ask, hey, would you like to check this out? Is reader 2. She is reader 2.
Mom is reader 3.
Reader
My
3.
mom reads it for us, yeah.
And then also I am my bookie. I am my agent. I am my travel
The
agent.
accountant.
I am my accountant. I am my loan shark. Because if you don't pay me, like, it's just like, you know what I mean? And you gotta have these many different hats, and it hurts, and it hurts. You got to be your own alarm clock. You got to be your own boss, and you got to, like, out of all the people you have to be the person that you blame, you take accountability on.
It's like parent yourself.
You know, you got to be your own parent. It is very hard, you know, because I'm like, because I draw how I draw. The way that I draw is the way, like, you know, I do everything, you know, or almost everything. And the thing is, there's hardly any responsibility when I draw. The artist part is the easiest part because that's just naturally me. Mm-hmm. Everything else, I have to, like, kind of drag myself. And, or even, like, you know, all right, if I know that I have to knock out these 10 things in one day, that means I have to wake up at this time. And so in order for me to do that, I got to get up, you know, and she's been helping me get back into that mode where I'm, you know, this is my saying. The sun before me and after me will always go up. But as long as I live and breathe, it will never be up before me. Period. Never.
That's dope. That's dope.
But
it's definitely entrepreneurship.
It's a misconception, though.
Yeah.
Because I am human. I have things, you know, and I make plenty of mistakes.
But yeah,
right?
Entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart.
Exactly.
It's really not.
It's not.
Because that's what we're really doing with the art is we're entrepreneurs.
So also working, you know, I'm taking in. I'm going back to be a CNA, actually. And to just work the weekends, just put some more money towards the business, put some money towards the house. And, you know, being able to, because once your money is tied into the business, your money's tied in. You have to stand and deliver. Mm-hmm. You have to buy the supplies. You have to make sure that your subscription to Clip Studio Paint is,
or Wix, your website,
and so on and so forth. And it has to stay alive. Mm-hmm. You have to stay alive. And there's so many things that you have to, like, you know, everything that you put into the market, you have to make sure that that thing outlives itself. And that's where the art comes in. Mm-hmm. You know, that's where places like Whatnot comes in, where I'm selling fan art, and I found my market of people that I can just draw Dr. Doom or Spider-Man or whoever they want and sell it at the price that I deserve, and it's like a store transaction. There's no haggling. Mm-hmm. There's no I can get it for cheaper. You know, it's no, you see the price, you know the price, you pay for the price. And
Whatnot.
Yeah, Whatnot.
Yeah, it's like an auction for artists or even people. I know one of my friends from college, he sells clothes on there.
Yeah.
And you just go live and people bid for it, and you have like your starting bid, and even if your starting bid is $10, if somebody overbids that, you could sell it for more, you know. You
know, I've had pieces that I've started off with $1 starts, and I made $60 out of a sketch card. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah.
That's cool.
And you actually get to know the worth for it. Yeah. Just starting off from that. So that's another thing. You have to be aware of your worth. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, you have to set the price. Like, from the moment I decided that I was going to be selling my artwork professionally, every year I raised my price a little bit. Just period. I don't care if I got 0 sales the year before. I'm raising my price. Because 0 sales doesn't mean that my skill didn't improve with those 0 sales. So, and there are times, like, depending on the client, where I'll lower the price because I'm feeling self-conscious and I don't have anything coming in. But I think now I definitely feel like I'm in a space where I feel comfortable enough to keep my price where it is, especially with people like Chris. Like, I'm working with nonprofit And every year, Chris is like, yo, I'm not going to be able to afford you one year. And I'm like, next year, da-da-da. I'm like, Chris, nah, I'll be here. And he's like, nah, son, like, your art's growing. Like, you need to be reaching out. You need to be doing this. I'm like, damn, like.
You know, and I'm glad we segued into like the entrepreneurship
Yeah.
piece. I definitely want to talk about, like I said, talk ain't cheap. We speak to innovators, entrepreneurs, and creatives about tangible, different things that they can do and actionable steps that they can do within their entrepreneurship journey. So one of the things I really am interested in, and I'll start with you, Shawn. You have Whatnot. You have your independent publishing company for comics. How has those journeys been going, and how did you decide to really start those businesses?
Well, like I said before, I've always wanted to do comic books, right? So, that was a no brainer. You know, I wanted, if you know, Todd McFarlane was number one, Shawn McArthur has to be number one. A. Yeah. So, and I figured that I wanted to do that, right? And I still do. I realized that it's much harder to keep afloat, because there's no hiccups, there's no day offs, and you know, I realize that now. And no matter how well you get, like, you know, I have like about 15K people on TikTok following me. It doesn't matter how many people follow you. It's about your consistency of work. And so I had to learn the hard way that, mama, we did not make it, but we are making it soon, and I just have to figure me out. And you grow as a business. That means when you grow as a person, you grow as a business. So when people say that it's nothing personal, it's just business, no, it's fucking personal. And I say that from the top of my artery to the bottom of my balls, that it is fucking personal. And so as you grow as a person, your wants and needs as a business differentiates, right? It changes.
Every time you level up, it changes. Like whatever you did to get to this year's level, you need now to apply a whole new set of discipline and lists to get to the next level, and then et cetera, et cetera. You cannot be the same person you were for the first 3 years and expect you to level up, because each level takes a different amount of, like,
right.
you know?
And as you get older, it's not even that you're as hungry, but your body doesn't take in the 3 a.m.s, the 5 a.m.s to 3 a.m.s, wake up for 6 so you can go to work at 7. And then, you know, like, when I started this professional journey, I was 26 going on 27, and now I am 30. I am 36. Yeah, so it's been about 10 years on the, like, you know, just showing my face on this island and being a part of this beautiful community, right? You know, but at the same time, like, I know my days are coming. You know, we for the other episode, we talk about children. You know, we just got married a year ago, and we're about to hit 40. You know, and the clock is ticking. What do we choose? Who?
Because
do we
after 40,
choose?
it ain't happening. Like, if it ain't happening by 40, it ain't happening. Because I'm definitely, as a woman, once you get older, it's definitely not safe. So we want to get so far in our careers, though. Like, and then with the economy and everything, it's back to that counting your pennies thing. Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it needs to make sense. I don't know what it is with boomers and Gen X's where it's like, have the baby and struggle, it's worth it. Like, no, why is that a thing?
Right.
I don't understand. But yeah, entrepreneurship.
So
Sorry.
No, we
it's
going.
like back to
Y'all good.
entrepreneurship.
Y'all good. I'm enjoying this episode. It's a lot of gems. It's a lot of gems.
so yeah, you know, you got to put your pride to the side. You gotta know when. Okay, well, you can't afford that, so, you know, it doesn't make you less of an artist if you go back to where you started and, you know, and take on and take on the world again. Matter of fact, it's crazy because Gary Vee kind of taught me that in the beginning, because that's who I was listening to in the beginning. He was like, yo, if I had a chance to go back to the wine business, I'd do that in a heartbeat, and just to show that I can do that again. And then in my head, I'm like, I'm not willing to do that. But when the time came, and, you know, my wife, Jodi, was saying, you got to do something, baby. And I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm going back to CNA. And matter of fact, this past week, a couple of days ago, I just passed my test.
Congrats.
You know, because my license lapsed. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go and take this test.
Because the
Ain't
crazy
nothing.
part is, like, the other thing, it's like one of us is going to have to sacrifice not being an artist anymore. Or both of us are going to have to sacrifice, or at least not being an artist full time. Because at that point, we need real jobs for insurance and etc. Like, unless our careers aren't where they need to be in order for us to afford the basic needs. I'm not even talking about like college and like every day. Just the
Right,
basic just
diaper.
the hospital bill alone to
Yeah,
have a baby.
The checkups.
If we can at least afford that,
the insurance,
then
yeah.
yeah,
You know?
because those bills be crazy.
But
Insurance don't cover that?
Huh?
No, but insurance covers some of it, depending on your insurance. But we have poor man insurance. We have the bottom tier of insurance, which means it's not going to cover
Everything.
So
So how
that bill
people
is
who have-
still going to be $5,000 on that bill.
So how do people who have like 8 kids that live in the projects that don't?
I don't know. There's layaway, there's payment plans. I don't know how they're doing it or where they're going. Maybe I need to look that up. But I just, poor man insurance,
Right.
I'm not trying to.
right.
And then on top of that, I ain't trying to go to no everybody hospital. I want a black female doctor. I need it to be a certain way. And for it to be that way, I can't afford it.
Right. And then me, like, with my family, like my mom even said, like, listen, you take care of that kid. You have a kid, you take care of the kid. And my dad was, I'm fortunate enough to have my dad the way that I had my dad, for his time being here. So if it's just like, that's a no-brainer. I'm gonna take care of this kid no matter what. Art, I will always draw. I will always draw. I was drawing without money. I can do that anytime. That's my favorite thing to do. So if that has to take a backseat, comics have to take a backseat, then I'll just draw, take care of the kid. That's it.
Because I'm not ready. I feel like I can see myself reaching a higher amount per mural. Like right now I do about 10 to 12 murals a year. But I want to get to the point where I'm doing 2 to 3 murals a year, and that's covering the entire year. You know what I mean? Especially because I'm getting older. Even besides if I have a kid or not, my body is not going to be able to push out 10 to 12 murals a year once I get to like 50 and 60 and whatever the case is. So if I could just, we gave ourselves to like 38, 39, because that's when my cousin had hers. And just to see like, and now for these next 3 years, I just gotta push. Sean just gotta push so that way we don't have to give up our dreams, because it's not just about savings, but it's also about being in the right rooms where the value is recognized. Like sometimes it's not that you're not valuable, is that you're in the wrong fucking room.
I was trying to sell fan art to comic book conventions, right? And that's cool because everybody sells fan art in comic book conventions. But I didn't make the most profit in comic book conventions until I went to Whatnot, because people were like, oh my God, I see that. And I'm with collectors. So now they see these blank covers and they're like, oh my goodness, does this have a certificate of authenticity? Can you get this graded? I will pay for the extra grading. And they're willing to do that simply because they like your art. It's really cool, and they want it to be super valuable, or they will double that wealth and sell it off. Either way, a collector or a double seller, that's what I call them. they're there to spend money on you. So you found your people, Shawn. All you have to do is just keep producing these pieces.
So I definitely suggest Whatnot because I haven't jumped on it yet, but he's been very successful on there as far as like making money.
First month was like $2,000.
Yeah, just naturally, just being on there and people bidding on your stuff. And like we said, it's art, it's clothes. If you're a fashion designer, if you have merch, hats, whatever, go to Whatnot, like and start. And in every art, gig or job or opportunity, you have to think about the consistency of it. It's not always going to be 100% everyday consistent, but it is an awesome outlet to like sell your stuff.
Right.
Dope. Jodi, real quick.
Yeah.
How's the business of murals? How are you navigating the business of murals?
I think I've been fortunate because of the nonprofits. I work with 4 nonprofits.
And where have you done murals? Where if people was to go around the island, where can we find a Jodi mural?
So right now, a lot of my murals are indoors. But as far as like my outdoor murals, I have maybe 4 in Stapleton. What's on Tompkins? Was that Tompkins Avenue or Tompkins Street?
Yes.
Where that Spanish place is on the corner, there's a park up the street, so I have 2 murals in there. Mm-hmm. And then if you go around the corner near IS 49, I have a mural back there. I also have the courtyard of PS 44 in Mariners Harbor. I'm currently painting their courtyard and potentially the rest of their courtyard this year. I got one outside on Targhee Street. On PS9. So if you're driving down Targhee Street, coming from Richmond Avenue, you'll see it. It's this purple building, and then there's like this giant piano. So there's that one. Tottenville, PS 55. Yeah, shout out to the nonprofits, man, because if you don't mind teaching and doing community work, it is a great source of income, and I've been collecting them like trading cards. That's the only reason, I could honestly say I probably have 65 plus murals in Staten Island. Some of them are indoors. That's what I said, 3 or 4 schools where it's only 5 to 6, maybe 7 murals in that school just from me repeatedly going. And
that's a matter of 4 years.
Yeah, like I said, 10 to 12 murals a year.
You've been working.
I put in that work. I'll do two or 3 projects within 2 or 3. Right now with the calendar I have up, I'm doing 3 schools, 2 schools and a mental health clinic. But it's really just nonprofit work. That's why I feel like now, because I have an accumulation of all these school murals, I want to start doing not necessarily more adult content murals, but just not as much nursery rhyme elementary school murals, if you will, and start really pushing a new design. I'm working for something I'm going to be doing in Brooklyn on Atlantic Avenue. I'm really excited. It's and this is
that's hard. That's so tough.
It's gonna be, and that's gonna be 20 feet.
You're doing this whole thing?
Yeah. It's 20 feet long.
Oh, I need to show the people. Yeah. Hold on.
It's 20 feet long and 10 feet high. But the business is good, especially through nonprofit work. I've been able to get a lot of wall space. So if you count interiors, yeah, I got a few interiors. I got one in Snug Harbor. That's interior. But yeah, it's been amazing. Just through the nonprofit work alone. And artists are like, oh, you need to start applying as yourself, but that's the laziness. That's the laziness of it. But this year I'm applying.
Yeah. You gotta do
pushing,
it.
Yeah.
You put in 100% of the effort.
Yeah. No, this year I'm definitely going to start applying outside and start weaning out some of my nonprofit work. Because right now I probably do 2 or 3 schools with each of them a year. So it's coming up.
The nonprofits have been keeping us afloat in that sense.
Yeah, if you don't mind teaching, it's great.
Yeah.
And it's not even just teaching murals. As long as you're creative, there are nonprofits that will hire you to do film workshops, to do photography workshops, to do music, producing, DJing, comic book workshops. As long as you have some sort of creative outlet that you can then package to teach to a school, high school, middle school, elementary school, whatever, you can make money. Some of them, they're like 25, 30 an hour, but some of them are like $90, $100 an hour. And you're literally going into school maybe once or twice a week. We have a program now that's coming up that's actually like a whole 6 periods.
Yeah.
And it's not, and it's $90 an hour for lead artists, and I think 75, 80 for
Is
assistants.
that the Wagner one?
That's the Wagner one, yeah.
Oh, I think I'm getting 130.
Oh, you might be doing something else.
Yeah.
For what I'm doing, it was 90 an hour.
Damn.
But nonprofits, man. Even this podcast thing, you could totally package to a nonprofit to be like, hey, I'd like to teach podcasting to students. And then boom, Projectivity, hit them up.
Yep.
Let's see what 2025, 2026 looks
Right,
like.
Projectivity, hit them up.
Immaculate.
You got when you say that, you got to do like this. So
Immaculate.
Immaculate. There we go.
So yeah, like that's the main thing. If you don't mind teaching and you don't mind doing community work, nonprofits have been my bag, my bread and butter. Now, in the art sense, in the mural sense, it does limit you somewhat because you have to create the mural based on like the school's aesthetic and the client's aesthetic. But honestly, I think it's been great training for me to know how to handle like even business clients, because even with business clients, even though the content will be older, more mature, it'll still be restrictive because that's the business part of art. You're not always going to get to paint your passion project. Sometimes you got to paint what the client wants, and it's gonna suck because the client, their requests sometimes be so basic, no art vision at all, but they think it looks nice, and you're just like, rent is due. So yes, it looks nice. Whatever your vision is, it looks great.
Dope.
Find it.
So we got about, I will go definitely wrap up real quick. So you gotta, you want to do a whole other episode. So for those who are tuning in, make sure y'all follow Talk Ain't Cheap Network. Follow the Immaculate Love Show on Instagram. Shout out to Immaculate Scent, Immaculate Scent for an Immaculate Vibe. And you gotta put the Immaculate, And so my final question for you all is, and this is like a question that people always ask, but I'm gonna remix it a little bit. People always ask the question of, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I think for me, what I'm more interested in is, what kind of impact do you want to have within the next 5 years?
So kind of impact. So I have this 10-year-old project that I'm working on this year.
Wow.
And I want to make cartoons, and I want to make it, and simply because I want to reach out to the kids who are like me, who still remembers these cartoons as like a thing that they could escape to when they didn't have friends and they didn't have people, they had their close group, they had their homies, and every Saturday morning we watched it on the tube. So that's my shit. Mm-hmm. I want to make cartoons, and I want it to be a cartoon that you will hear from kids, or they're wearing the book bags and playing the game, and it is just that cartoon.
And we don't have really like much black animes too.
We have some. We have some now. Within 10 years, more. Yeah, we have more than we did back then.
But still not enough.
Still not enough, and it would never be enough. I don't think it would ever be enough.
Right.
Truthfully,
the gatekeepers.
It's not even about gatekeeping, but it's just the fact that people are fearful to even take the leap to do the thing.
Well, that too, but for me, the cynic, I'm like, the gatekeeping, because not to get racial, but I feel like the industry always allows only a few amount of diversity hires, if you will, whether it be black, gay, or Asian or whatever. So that's why I say the gatekeeping, because
I feel
they're out there. It's just they're in the wrong rooms.
We got to break the gate.
They're in the wrong rooms.
We got to create our own communities.
And to answer your question, my impact, I want to reach back, because I feel like every every job I've ever had, if I found a way to reach back, I was reaching back. Like even when I was doing the lifeguarding and the swim instruction, I was trying to teach people, hey, you should do swim instruction. And now with the murals, I'm like, you guys should jump into murals, especially artists who are doing gallery work. Like I could get one mural for like $3K that will take me maybe a week, 2 weeks to paint, versus like a canvas which is like this small for like $300 who no one wants to buy. You know what I mean? So in that sense, I think murals are the way to go for a lot of artists. Mm-hmm. And I want to reach back and like teach that. Like I recently hosted a mural training program through Projectivity because I was telling Chris we need more artists. So that's
off of the strength of just seeing one guy who's been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
He has his own company and he has people helping him make, and he's out doing another mural
back, so.
And he's reaching back. So could you imagine her having that sort of, I could see it.
I mean, especially as like a black woman or even a woman in the industry period, like I just want to reach back. Like it gives me a sense of pride to like walk into those classrooms and those community events and for them to see like it's a black female artist like doing this shit. Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah. I
think that is one of the things that we both take pride in because, you know, and
they don't know we exist.
Right. Or they try not to let us exist sometimes. Yeah. Or sometimes it's just the fear of knowing that is what holds us back. But like, once again, you know,
because I've been to some schools in Staten Island, I would say the South. The South part of Staten Island where I'm walking
another one of these
where I'm walking into the room and they're like shocked because also I'm not black presenting on the phone. I articulate, so when they meet me in person a lot of times they're like,
which is crazy you have to say that,
right? Like I'm not black presenting,
you know,
but
right.
Yeah, no. And or even I had one student where he was calling everybody servants, but only particular people in the class were servants, and I was like, no one's your servant, boo. Like, we're not gonna do that. But
that's crazy.
But no, but especially in those spaces where I'm the only minority and all the kids are white or privileged or whatever the case is, I like walking into those rooms because it reminds them just because your nanny or your maid or whatever is black or brown or whatever doesn't mean that that's the only occupation that they could have.
Right.
You know, so it is a sense of pride. Both of us walking in, like he's a black comic book creator and I'm a black muralist, and it's like we're doing this, so it's possible for you guys to do it. And it's possible for you to see that your life is bigger than the privilege that your family has put you into that bubble, thinking people of minority descent or whatever only do certain jobs, you know?
I love this. All right, well, if people want to follow you, connect with you, hire you, see our portfolios, see what you guys got going on, where can they go and do that?
So my website is jodidareal.com. That's JODIDAREAL.com. And the Instagram is the same thing, at Jodi Da Real. And you could check out all of my work there. You could hire me through DM or on my website.
So on Facebook is Sketch School _Shawn. On Instagram, same thing, Sketch School _Shawn. On Twitch, you can find me under Shawn _McArt. TikTok, even though we got a few more days left.
Right, we got a few more weeks. We got like a week or so left.
We got a few more days left on the 19th.
They're taking out TikTok.
Right, hopefully 19th, not. I'm knocking on wood. But you can find me Shawn _McArt. Whatnot, Shawn _McArt. I said Twitch already. All right, cool. And then our website is www.divideddistrictstudios.com. And before you sign off, I got something for you.
Ooh.
We got something
for you.
What y'all got, man?
All right, so we got
some books.
We got some books for you.
Oh man! So am I allowed to open these, or can I just keep these?
It's up to you. Please read.
Please read.
These are y'all books.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some people like to collect, but as creatives, we want you to read because we want feedback. We want people to tell us like, this is dope. I wish there was this. Like that.
Wow,
sort of
this
thing.
is fire.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Wow, this is dope. Yeah, I don't feel like I'm gonna open these. 'Cause, like,
No.
See, there we go.
I want to. Like, if y'all got a PDF version, send me that because I'm gonna read that.
We'll send you the
yeah.
PDF.
But I'm gonna keep these. Like,
Did
these
we
are.
you sign? Are those signed?
Oh, yeah, we gotta sign
We have
these.
to sign these, but yes. So,
Let me grab a.
so this is the first and second issue of our books, Home and World and Euphoria.
Fire. If let me see how much time we got. Let's do it. 30 seconds. Tell us about this.
Okay, so if you know Handmaid's Tale and Wonder Woman, Euphoria is a fantasy story about women being in charge and men being enslaved, but the women have corrupted the system, and now it's up to the middle class, lower class to team up with the men and free them. So that's Euphoria. It's all about equality, but in reverse. It's a feminist book.
Interesting.
And then Home and Worlds Beyond is about the vast. There's dimensions. It's multidimensional. It's about Lena right here, and she has to save the world. And there's some awesome, really cool characters, and it's gonna be dope. Now I wish Sean was here to like fully give you the spiel, but yes, it's gonna be dope.
Dope.
Super sci-fi, black characters. I would say mine is definitely all about diversity, and yes, I didn't do it justice. I'm sorry,
All
babe.
right, cool.
I was like, I hope Sean comes out.
All right, you ever watch everything in it?
Anything and Everything
at once?
No, I haven't.
All right, you need to watch that movie. That movie is dope. But have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy?
Now you're gonna have to put me on. We might have to do like a 10 a.m. like the 4 a.m. streaming.
All right, cool. So, also we have a Discord. You have Discord.
I have Discord.
All right, so we have a Discord called the District Jasmine Network, and that's where we do chats with a bunch of other artists all over
What's
the world.
it about, baby?
Oh, wait, hold on. And sorry.
You good.
And then from there, we do movie nights. So that could be one of the movies.
We gonna tap in. I want to definitely support.
Home and Worlds Beyond is pretty much Guardians of the Galaxy and everything and anything at once put together. You play video games?
Not like I used to.
Okay, you ever heard of Zelda?
Yeah, of course.
All right, Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Back in the day with the N64, and then you have Mega Man. So you put all those four elements together, and then you get this sci-fi action thriller about this girl named Lena who becomes the savior of the multiverse. Not only teaming up with a group of guardians who help keep the time and dimensions intact, but also she gets to meet different versions of herself to become the person that she needs to be. This story is all about absolute purpose, finding your purpose, and stepping into your purpose.
Mine's about equality and sexism, but in reverse.
Dope. All right, yo. Well, make sure y'all tap in with Sean and Jodi. Y'all tuned in to Talk Ain't Cheap, and y'all know the slogan is not that deep. It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
Make sure y'all support Talk Ain't Cheap Network. Immaculate Scent. Like I said, an immaculate scent for an immaculate vibe. And, the Cletus Group. If you need some consulting, you need help with brand and marketing, even starting your own podcast, reach out. We're going to be doing consulting this year as well. And just a lot of other things. But thank y'all so much for kicking it with me. Thank y'all for being guests. I enjoyed it. Very insightful. And like I said, find the gems.
Yeah.